The Conspiracy of Raven, the third installment in Big Finish's run of the second Doctor box sets, focused on exploring the popular and rather mysterious Season 6B, first brought to light in the Wilderness Years and the BBC books in the late 90s. This box set very much continues the story established in the first box set, Beyond War Games, and it is not recommended you start with this box set. For the record, if you're wondering about if you need context surrounding the War Games to get into Season 6B content, it is not required. You will be fine if you start with these box sets without watching the War Games. Although I recommend that you do watch the War Games because it's not like it is the greatest Doctor Who story of all time. Speaking about greatness, July, this month for Big Finish, they're going damn crazy. This release, 2 lost stories, and finally the novel adaptations returning with Goth Opera. It's a big month. Also, you're killing my wallet, Big Finish. And I didn't even buy every single release this month. You still killed it. But yeah, these box sets, I've very much adored them. And let's not add any suspense here, I love this even more than the previous 2. So it's going to be a very, very, very positive review. I thought this box set was damn incredible, and how it plays, just love and respect for Season 6B and just the direction it's taking and adding like new lore, new stuff to Season 6B, the delivery, the execution. I'm just over the moon that the second Doctor is just getting really good content, because this is just cracking stuff. And yeah, I'm going to say it right out of the blue, right out of the gate, the third box set I prefer to the previous 2. So let's go over and cover this brilliant release, Conspiracy of Raven. Following the events of the previous box set, Jamie is now missing. We also continue the story of the sadistic Time Lord known as Revan, and this apparent conspiracy she's entangled in. A release full of questions and surrounded in mystery. It's up to the Doctor and the companions to find out all these rather sinister questions about this so-called conspiracy. The first story, Kippers, begins with the Doctor and Jamie believing Raven has been dealt with, and that they attempt to break free from the sinister Time Lord Celestial Intervention Agency, the CIA, to perform various covert missions. It is still up in the air why the CIA wants the Doctor to perform these missions. But Jamie seems to have disappeared, vanished into thin air. The conspiracy is about to begin, and Raven too is going to be in a bad situation herself. Let me tell you what this box set does, just improves upon even better than the previous 2. Not knocking the previous 2. They're cracking box sets, but it's just the overall theme from start to finish. I'm just feeling this sense of dread and mystery throughout the entire box set, from start to finish, until we have the cliffhanger. Just that feeling of dread and apprehension, not like in a horror aspect, but of just, you do not know what the hell is going on. None of the characters in fact do, not even Raven. So the apprehension the characters are feeling, you feel it too as the listener, because you want answers. Just like the haunting music, which is well known within the War Games episode 10 playing in the background, also called Time Lord Technology. Sound design, top notch. And it seems that Jamie is trapped, but it seems rather peculiar where he is and where he goes. Because the moment the Doctor gets closer to finding Jamie, vanishes again. Almost felt like a game is happening. The Doctor again is alone, but stands firm against them. But then a faint voice calls the Doctor. It seems Jamie is trapped, but where he is, we don't know. Is it a trap, or is it actually Jamie? All this confusion floods the Doctor's mind. He doesn't know what to do. And Raven, as I said, seems to be in the exact same situation, trapped along with poor who was one of the individual characters within the previous story and the previous box set, The Shroud. Paul seems to recall of a haunting noise, fluttering and buzzing in the background, while Raven mocks him and says it's the CIA who have intervened. Paul says, well, why aren't they here? Raven logically tries to defend her position, but stutters because it might not be the CIA after all. The strange and unnerving buzzing or fluttering type of sound which sparks anxiety. It seems everyone, the Doctor, Jamie, Raven, Paul, are in a game, a prison of some sort. But according to Raven, they are on a Time Lord ship, where Raven first accepted the assignment from the CIA. But clearly things are very different. No power, nobody knows what's going on, full of mystery, eerie, and I absolutely love it. All the characters are in the dark, so is the listener. And this is a very interesting aspect with Raven. A character like Raven always wants to be in control of everything. But when she isn't, and doesn't even have all the answers, that's when her character starts to break down. Weaknesses within her armour, which the Doctor, funny enough, just dinks at the armour a little bit, just poking the bear a little bit, because the Doctor can sense that Raven is in fact breaking down in her confidence. The second Doctor almost acts like the first Doctor in this story and this box set. So even though she is an antagonist, she has no loyalty to anyone but herself. She is forced to work with these characters, so it's not looking like she is the main antagonist anymore, but a higher power now, completely above Raven, because not even Raven knows everything that's going on. So she hates the idea. She is a puppet, just like the Doctor and Jamie. But the Doctor is right. Raven hates that she doesn't know what's going on, and the Doctor is taking the lead to find Jamie. Another thing she hates. The music is a perfect blend of 60s suspense, like the original Dalek story. So if you like the 1960s atmospheric music, like on Skaro, the original Dalek story, yep, you will like it. Kippers is 100% driven by atmosphere and character interaction. Not really story or plot, that is completely up in the air, and you do not have a doohickle what is happening. Really works well for a first story in the set, hence the title called Conspiracy. Paul is almost the voice of reason, who is a part of the Shroud following the previous story in season 6B, acts as the perfect person to keep the second Doctor and Raven from biting each other to death. But then Raven goes after Paul as well, just by calling him a technology construct. And while this is happening, Jamie seems to be attacked by this buzzing energy, which we still don't understand what it is. So I gotta admit, the story does wander around quite a bit. But as I said, it's the atmosphere, all the questions that are building up, which are up in the air at the moment, and it has the feeling of apprehension. And I would say that it does so throughout the entire set. Because as I stated, the Doctor is getting concerned as he doesn't know, when accessing the cell to get to Jamie, did Jamie simply disappear? Or was he never there to begin with? Is it just a trick by the Kippers? The Doctor says it has almost a consuming sound, something that is slowly consuming the soul. The story slowly reveals about what happened on the station, the Time Lords against this mysterious energy that cannot be harmed in any way by the weapons. It's rather bleak hearing a recording of all the Time Lords getting completely massacred by the Kippers. So answers to season 6B are starting to be revealed. The involvement of Raven, who's nothing more of a pawn, like the Doctor. Why is the Doctor being sent on covert missions? What is the overall purpose behind it? And what is the conspiracy of the whole situation and event of season 6B? Because it's not Raven, and it may not even be the Time Lords either. This is an excellent story. You admire the Doctor's persistence to find and save Jamie, even though it's to really no avail, because it feels like he's just chasing someone who's just dangling a carrot and just moving it. So it almost feels like a game, because that was the impression I was getting. This box set feels like a game, and someone behind the scenes is being the grand manipulator. There are various clues that actually tease the cliffhanger to the end of the box set, but I'm not going to reveal those clues. Even previous box sets as well, like the first story within the set. But also it throws some possible theories too, but it's almost like a red herring. It makes you think what the hell is happening with this box set, where it's taking you, because it references many possibilities. Zoe brings up the land of fiction, for example. The Daleks are quoted many times. So I think this box set definitely played a fun theory that people had, but the Doctor never actually left the land of fiction. But yeah, the Kippers aren't explained, and I would say they're not really explained within this set. So I don't think that they are finished. We know their purpose of what they're going to be doing at the end of the box set, but what they are and who's controlling them, we don't actually know. But their behavior is very interesting because we know that they completely massacred the Time Lords, presumably. Then when they are surrounding the Doctor, they don't attack him. And the only exit is basically his TARDIS. So is that implying that they want the Doctor to leave? Their behavior is very interesting. Very captivating story. 9 out of 10. Really, really good. A bit wandery. It does wander about a bit. But the atmosphere and the feeling of apprehension, it just nails it for me. 9 out of 10. Catastrophe Theory begins where Kippers ended, and the story to introduce Zoe, or what we are led up to believe, more older, but the Doctor isn't sure what to believe because of the whole conspiracy that's been happening. It seems during this whole conversation it's being monitored by someone. The land of fiction is mentioned by Zoe, which should be impossible considering Zoe's memories were wiped by the Time Lords. Jamie seems to be on a spaceship heading towards somewhere, completely lost on an alien world that seems to be friendly enough with sociable aliens that deal with luxury holidays. So this story is more dividing the characters up, with the Doctor and Zoe in the TARDIS after escaping the Kipper-infested Time Lord ship, and Jamie's on an alien planet. Jamie's part of the story is something that has been done many times in Doctor Who, a setting with a false sense of safety, and the same buzzing, fluttering sound in the story Kippers is coming after Jamie again and about to create havoc. There's a lot of flashback sequences that also happen in the story with the Doctor and Zoe, like memories. It's building up that Zoe first being shown the Daleks by the Doctor, the scenes when they were battling the Crotons, and as well their final moments within the War Games, all like these flashbacks, psychic memories. Was that actually done by someone? Does somebody want this to happen? Again, all up in the air. Raven is still trapped and contained on the Time Lord ship, and the people who she's communicating with, part of the CIA, don't even know about the events that are transpiring, the most deepest and darkest aspects of the Time Lord society, and it's something above the Time Lords. It does feel someone or something is treating everybody like pawns on a chessboard, manipulating events and time, something above Raven and the Time Lords. And information Raven is trying to get and the Time Lords is being deliberately blocked off by something. So everybody is in a state of confusion and apprehension about what move to make. And that's why this box set is so damn good. All the characters, even some of the antagonists, they don't know what steps to make, because it feels like every step they make, they're being manipulated by something. That is good. And it does that throughout the whole set. And that goes back to what I said with the Doctor as being convinced that Jamie calling for the Doctor might just be a carrot on a stick, an easy tactic of bait. Or is it? The box set, in atmosphere, storytelling and themes, is just getting better and better with each box set that comes out. Perhaps recency bias is playing a part there, but I feel this box set as a whole works incredibly well. The narrative is just so much stronger than the previous two box sets. I just like them by individual stories, but this set here, I just love the whole freaking thing. very, very happy. So the story does feel like a wild goose chase for the Doctor and Zoe trying to get to Jamie, only to vanish, almost like the Doctor and Zoe are on a trail to somewhere, most likely to somewhere called the Vanishing Point, a place that exists in between science and magic. The Doctor is concerned about the manipulation of what is happening that has resulted in something he believes the Time Lords aren't even capable of doing, and someone else has been doing the manipulating. That question is still unanswered, but I am on the edge of my seat to find out. The questions are teased but not answered just yet, but there are bits of dialogue that do tease some of the questions, which is for the listener's enjoyment only, not something I'm going to spoil. You also have the Chinsog, who are adversaries who remind me of the Salacians, but they are like canines who are bred for war. They're basically just there. Their performances and their voice acting was tremendous. I'm surprised Gary Turner didn't lose his voice by voicing them. But this story does bring up the previous box sets too. Have the Kippers been there from the very beginning? Not as good as the first story, but it's still brilliant, and some of the dialogue about the Doctor finally standing up to the manipulation and that the Kippers have been there in the first story when the Daleks were just pretty much wiped out and defeated due to the evil of the Dalek Civil War. But why? That's what the Doctor's referencing, but the Kippers were all the way back then, just hiding in the background. Now that makes me want to go back to that box set if I can actually hear that sound effect. Vanishing Point. This one very easily to spoil, so I won't say too much, but slowly but surely something seems to be grabbing Raven's attention, and she's rather apprehensive about something. And when the Kippers came back on the scene again, you hear a faint laughter in the background, which Raven did not pick up on. Somebody in the background and not part of the CIA. The laughter seems one of an insane person, which is Celestine. Now Celestine is a character all the way back in the first story of Beyond War Games. He has some connection to that story of the events that transpired in it. I can't say it because it will just reveal it, so I can't say it. But that's the point I'm trying to make. There's no point listening to this if you haven't listened to the previous box sets. There's just no point. It would just ruin the narrative for you, because this is a very heavy narrative story which goes back to the previous story. So yeah, if I reveal it, it will spoil that. This story is very strange in what it throws at you. Time seems to be all over the place, changing timelines, multiple timelines happening at the same time, and the TARDIS struggling to travel through time, and the TARDIS controls end up dead. The Halloween music and sound design about this so-called vanishing point. Everything in this story and throughout the box set gives you that feeling of apprehension, tense of not knowing the situation, and Raven pleading to get into the TARDIS while the Doctor is mocking her because she's a backstabber. She's in it for her own gain, and Jamie is almost convinced to leave her out there, which I don't know why I found that so funny. The way he just bluntly said it was, I just found it hilarious. But Raven is brought in because she will have answers. The Vanishing Point is brought up again, and is a forbidden book, and using a time ring on it has caused unnatural horrors, almost Lovecraftian, the cliffhanger. All the changing in history and the events that transpired in Season 6B, and the force behind it all, lies within the Vanishing Point. And who is the manipulator behind the events? That is not revealed. But the reason, that is revealed. And it is teased within the first story of this series in Beyond War Games, and other things too, but I will not say it. A very psychedelic story in its themes, dialogue and delivery, and that's where I will leave it. Too easy to spoil. But I will say it's the Morai, who are in the Vanishing Point, serve it, which acts as like a clockwork model of all eternity, something the Time Lords have no comprehension of understanding. So something above the Time Lords. Yep, I'm gonna leave it there. It's too easy to spoil, and I do not want to spoil it because many people who are watching this video, and I know because people said they haven't even listened to the first two box sets, so I want to leave this as spoiler free as I possibly can. So yeah, I think that's just the most respectful thing to do. But I'll tell you one thing, these are getting better by every box set. This, 8 out of 10, brilliant. First story I really enjoyed. This one, even better, 8 out of 10. Same rating, but I think the box set's better. This is the best one because the narrative is so much more stronger. Season 6B is just opening up a little bit more, expanding upon, and just the content, the mystery, the atmosphere, the apprehension, just everything I associate with Season 6B. This is like one of the best Season 6B pieces of content I could ask for. Maybe recency bias is playing a role, perhaps, but it's just the narrative is so much more stronger. And now, we have to wait a whole stinking year for the 4th installment. Oh god, that's gonna drive me nuts. I would say this is probably my favourite thing Big Finish are doing. True, I'm biased. I love the second Doctor era. The second Doctor is my favourite incarnation. I think Season 6B is freaking awesome and interesting, but yeah, I would say it's my favourite. The reveal at the end, yeah, it didn't surprise me because the box set throws a lot of teases at you of what it could be. And if you listen to the previous box sets, it's been teased. 9 out of 10. It's jumped from an 8 out of 10 to a 9 out of 10 to the 4th box set. If it wants to follow suit, and this is going to be a tough one to beat, it's going to have to be a 9, and I hope it is, because they're getting better and better with each box set. So, awesome, highly recommended, but no point starting with this. Get them in order. You don't have to, as I said, it's not required to watch the War Games. That was the Conspiracy of Death. We've got Death World, Operation Werewolf, and Goth Opera to enjoy. I will see you for those reviews. Have a good one.